So I'm here with Lenny again from Mortgage Equity Partners. And in our last video, we talked about what happens if I'm late and what should I be worried about. Now we'll talk about like, what if I was late before and I have derogatory comments? How do I fix those comments? What's the best thing? You hear about all these consolidation ones, right? I see the bandit signs on the road. Are they worth it? Are they good? What do I do if I already have those
I think what you're
comments
talking
on there?
about really is like the derogatory, like bankruptcies, judgments,
Right.
collections, charge-offs.
Anything. I had a credit card I didn't pay for a while, or I
Yeah,
combined everything together. What do I do to resolve
And
that?
then you're also talking about the signs you see when people are saying to consolidate your credit. Actually, any consolidation to credit is basically a restructure. So that's already treated in the guidelines for lending when you're trying to buy a home. As basically a bankruptcy because you couldn't manage your debt, and bankruptcies, that's what a Chapter 13 is, a restructure of debt.
So I shouldn't use these agencies, or are you saying I should be leery of these
Well,
agencies?
there's guidelines to it, so if you use that, it's not the end of the world, but it's not as good as these agencies make it seem. Like they call it an alternative to bankruptcy, but I'd be very, very careful with some of these companies because there's a lot of scams out there when it comes to consolidations and how they do the process. I mean, I'm not here to talk bad about any company, but I am here to say that
Right, and we're not trying
it
to
does
beat them
happen
down,
out
but
there.
you do see them. I mean, I'm intrigued by them. What happens if I was late? I mean, if I have all these credit cards, is a good thing. It would seem to me like, hey, if I combine them all together, I have one payment. But does it help? Or do they
I would
really
just
help?
explore my options and talk to maybe an attorney, a bankruptcy attorney, and see what the options
What
are.
would your recommendations be if I have these derogatory comments? How do I get them removed? I've heard of people getting them removed before. How do I get a comment that I go pay it? I mean, should I have it removed? Do I let it there? Do I just pay it and let it go?
Well, once you file for bankruptcy, the bankruptcy is going to be on your record. So the main thing is understanding what the bankruptcy, depending on the loan type, you might have to wait, 2 years, 3 years, 7 years to get a loan. So I have borrowers that have 800 credit scores that had a foreclosure, a year ago. That was the only problem they had. They just have to wait a waiting period. There is some non-traditional things that they could probably do, but for the purpose of this video, we're talking about the traditional, the lowest,
right? Exactly.
the
What's
lowest
the
borrowing
best?
costs and best terms and best products that are out there. But I wouldn't be too worried about judgments, collections, charge-offs. There are guidelines, and I think a lender will have to look at every specific case.
Okay.
And there's ways to ignore charge-offs if they're under a certain amount or collections.
Really?
Yes, and bankruptcies, if they're over a certain amount of time, it's not a problem to getting a loan.
Okay.
And a foreclosure, if you've had a foreclosure in the past, I know we had a big collapse in 2007 and 8, so most of the
Right, so a
foreclosures,
lot of people are on there.
people already have met the time frames.
Okay.
The big thing about these type of derogatory credits is what you have done after that incident.
Okay.
So if you've had a bankruptcy in the past, the lenders are looking at what reestablished credit has happened and how have you paid that. So if you had a bankruptcy and now it looks like you're on a path to another bankruptcy, you probably.
But if I had a bankruptcy 2 years ago and like 180, right? I changed course. Everything's looking great. Like I really shouldn't be too worried about it. You guys can get it resolved.
Nothing to worry about. There's a loan product for you right now to do that. So there's nothing to worry about.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, well, it is
Awesome.
good. It's good because it is a bankruptcy is looked at as a fresh start.
Okay.
So, and that's why I think it's very important when a lender really looks at what's been reestablished because if it's allowed. The bankruptcies are allowed. It's not illegal to do a bankruptcy, right?
Okay.
It's allowed, but the lenders carefully look at what was reestablished. So great best case scenario after the bankruptcy, you're going to get notifications. They know you have no
course,
debt.
right.
Creditors are going
Right.
to come out to you. Just be wise. Don't make some of the same mistakes, that you did in the past. Get your 1 or 2 credit cards.
Okay.
And make those payments on time. Reestablish. And don't not establish credit because that'll actually hurt you and maybe not, maximize your credit.
Okay.
Now, the one thing I want to talk about is the silent killer to credit scores that people don't even think happen. And that's your credit to balance ratio. So if you have $1,000 limit on a credit card, it is a very negative thing to have it maxed out. So I see people with 2 or 3 credit cards maxed out.
Okay.
And the best thing is to use those credit cards to about 20 to 30% max and pay them off every month or maintain it in that 20 to 30%.
Okay.
That lower credit to balance ratio is going to maximize your credit score. And so what I mean out there is that I've had people that have never been late on credit and they may be in the middle 600 credit scores, which is not a bad credit score, but they could be easily in a 720 or 740, which would give them either more buying power, lower rates, which means lower payments,
Okay.
which is where the buying power comes from.
So I want to stay below that 20%. I mean, is going below 10% even better
No,
than
not really. I've looked at it.
or-
I've had a lot of cases where I'm looking at it, and 25%. So I say 20 to 30. 25% is pretty much the
Below
number.
25% is like you're not going to see your bang for your buck come back versus it's going over 25%. You're going to see more of a bang for your buck coming back down below that.
Correct.
Right?
As far as credit score,
Okay.
yes, that is correct. So,
Awesome.
so with those tips right there, and obviously you could always call, either you or myself, and
Right.
we guide you through this whole process. And it is good to start early in the loan process, only
Exactly.
because it's very exciting. Very, very exciting to look at homes, brand new homes, and I know Eric does a
And
great job at getting people excited.
But then not finding out you qualify is a
Yeah,
major
but
thing,
not by
so.
it just and talking about money and finances sometimes isn't the most exciting thing,
Right.
or the monthly payment you're gonna have to pay for
Financing's
15,
that-
20, or
that-
30
that
years.
thing you don't wanna talk
yes,
about,
so getting that in line and knowing will make the whole experience a lot better.
Right.
But also it takes control of that part of your life because it is an important piece. I mean, we sell homes and we finance homes. But what credit does for you, it helps you get lower insurance. Your car payments are lower. Medical stuff might be lower. So there's a lot that's used with this credit score model.
Right.
And there's some cases I don't agree with, but they do use it. So this is going to help you in all aspects of your life. So I think it's very important to understand it. And I wish the school systems, I mean, I know there's plenty of
Right,
things,
right.
would actually teach
Have a
kids
class for
some
it,
of these
but
things
now
because
we're
this is
stretching.
real life things that you use
They
out
are,
there,
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for your time.
No
Mike.
problem. And I appreciate your time
Awesome.
too.